lieutenants, all of it, and the president's driving. And when Zuma came in, we could see, hey man, this guy, it's gonna be interesting. And he came in there, I'm ready to drive. And everyone there was like, Jacob, are you drunk? And he was like, no, I'm wasted. And he got in that car and he drove it like it's never been driven before. He crashed into everything. He broke every speed limit. At some point, he started selling the parts to the Guptas. Take the battery, we don't need it. And then finally, South Africans had enough. Jacob got kicked out of the car. We were all looking at it there, barely surviving. And then we're like, who's the next driver gonna be? Who can drive this car next? And the DA was like, we can drive. And we're like, we're not ready yet. Yeah, it's too soon. Cyril, are you gonna drive? And Cyril was like, yes, I can drive the car. And we're like, wait, Cyril, are you drunk? And Cyril was like, no, I don't even drink. And we were like, oh, wow, okay. All right, here you go. And he got in the car. But what we didn't know is that he only had a learner's license. Because he sat in that driver's seat, he put his seatbelt on, he looked down and he was like, whoa, it's a manual. It looks like we're gonna learn together. Because I'm sorry, man, I just feel like sometimes Cyril he just lacks conviction. That's what it is. I think that's what a lot of people feel. It feels like he lacks conviction. He'll come out and be like, I'm gonna fight corruption, I'm gonna fight it. And it's like, are you fighting it though? It doesn't feel like you fight. Like if you're gonna fight corruption, fight corruption. And if you're gonna be corrupt, be corrupt. Just lukewarm. Like even his scandal, even Phala Phala, what was that? What kind of scandal was that? Guys, come on, man. What kind of scandal? Not nuclear weapons, not giant contract. No, buffalo. Guys, do you understand how my friends in America roasted me when that story came out? That was a tough day in my life. When the newspapers overseas said South Africa's president in trouble for buffalo. My friends loved it. Came up to me in the office. They're like, dude, Trevor, so you guys have buffalo scandals in South Africa? I was like, yeah, it's not like a normal. He's like, dude, you have buffalo scandals? Dude, like what is there like a thing out there? You guys like love buffalo? I was like, no, we don't just love buffalo. Like, dude, you love buffalo. South Africans, you love buffalo. You guys probably have like buffalo on your money. I was like, no, we. That scandal was terrible. Phala Phala. What was that? They found 11 million rand. They said that Cyril had 11 million rands worth of dollars in his couch. In his couch. What kind of couch was that? It must have been an L shape, 11 million rands worth of dollars in cash. And then the office of the presidency said he didn't know. He didn't know. So he's never dropped the remote. Not even once, just like, Isan, yo! I don't know what was worse, the scandal or the way the office of the presidency responded to South Africans about the scandal. It was insulting at times, right? At first they were like, this is completely normal. There's nothing to see here. Completely normal. What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, no, you can have some money in your couch. Yeah, maybe 7 rand, guys. Then they went on to say, South Africans must calm down. Cyril just has other businesses that he also does. Other businesses. I don't know about you, but I'm not comfortable hearing that my president has side hustles. You're the president of a country. Why are you doing anything else? It's not like you need spare time. There's no electricity. What do you mean you're doing other things? Are you kidding me? That doesn't make me feel safe. Guys, if I'm on a flight, the last thing I want to see is the pilot coming out of the cockpit like, yeah, Nick next. Ah, Nick next. Ah, pick on fights, mama. Ah, pick on fights. Ah, Nick next. I'm like, yo, why aren't you flying the plane? Ah, you never know, Baba. Pick up plane. Are you kidding me? And like, Cyril has many jobs. How many jobs? Are we just gonna find out by surprise? Huh? One day I'm gonna open my Uber app and I'll just see Cyril is on the way. Be like, this guy takes Tumamina seriously, eh? That whole scandal, man, all of it. The load shedding and Cyril and but I'll still choose this country. I still choose South Africa every day. I'll tell you that now. Sometimes people will say to me, they'll be like, oh, Trev, you lucky, you got out. Oh, you got out, bro, you lucky. First of all, I didn't get out. You make it sound like I escaped. I left to go and work. I always come back. People go like, you got out, right? You got out. Make it like I was in the plane, like, go, they're coming, don't let them see me. Go. I love this country. I love South Africa more than anything in the world. It's in my bones. It's in the way I was raised. It's in the languages I speak. And I'll be honest, nothing makes me sadder than the way some people talk about the country. I don't judge them, by the way, because I understand. But, you know, like sometimes people will walk up to me and they think it's going to be like something we'll share. They'll be like, Trevor, South Africa it's terrible. It's the worst country in the world. Huh? Trevor, this country is rubbish. It's the worst. It's terrible. There's nothing worse than this. I'm like, look, I understand that you're frustrated, but like, be mindful of your words. This is far from the worst country in the world. It's far from it. Right? If there's one thing I hope people would realize is when you give up, that's when it truly fails. Right? It is not the worst country in the world. In my opinion, it is a great country that's going through one of the worst periods in its time. There's a difference. You can have a great country going through a bad time. It doesn't mean that it's now a bad country. We've got so many things to hope for. We've got so many things to work for, people. Are you kidding me? And then people will come to me, they'll be like, yeah, but Trev, it's easy for you to say, bro, but look at the looting and the riots. Yeah, guys, there's looting and riots in every country around the world. It happens when there's a lack of service delivery. You will see it anywhere. America was burning down at some point. Paris is burning every few weeks. Huh? Every few weeks. Have you seen them? And the French are angry. Petrol bombs everywhere. J'ai trop de les pattes de croître dessus. Allez de quoi aller de la merde. Se trotter du futur. Yes, I know they also loot and riot in South Africa, but at least here in South Africa, when they loot, they smile. That way I know it's not personal. They're shaking things up. One of my favorite lootings I ever saw was on the news. There was this guy who looted a TV. He looted a TV, guys. And it was this short guy, and he was running with the TV, and he was like, yeah. And you could see he was having the best day ever. Yeah. And while he was running with the TV, another guy came who was bigger than him and grabbed the TV. And he was like, And then the big guy took the TV. And then he ran away with it, gone. And this little guy, I've never seen a human have so many emotions in 30 seconds. Yeah. 30 seconds earlier, this guy was in heaven. He was there running with his new TV like, yeah, where's the police? 30 seconds later, he was like, where's the police? I'll take it any day of the week. People be like, yeah, you know, you say that, Trevor, you say that. You say that. Yeah. But what about the crime? What about the crime, Trevor? Huh? Yes, I admit it, the crime is terrible. It's out of control. We have to do something about it. We have to fight against it, you know? But the thing that gives me hope is that it's a problem that has a solution. Economists have shown time and time again around the world that when there's a high rate of crime, it is often tied to a high rate of unemployment. And so if you work to fix that unemployment, you are then solving the problem of crime. They've shown this time and time again. It is not an easy problem to fix, but it is fixable. People are like, oh yeah, but you're in America, bro, you're lucky. You know, you don't even have crime. It's like, okay, first of all, there is crime. And second of all, there's something else that we don't have in South Africa, mass shootings. Yeah, that's the craziest thing ever. Just randomly, you're in a room, in a public space, anywhere. Someone comes in, giant gun, starts shooting. 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, dead. Why? Nobody knows. Imagine that. Now you're dead. You don't know why. Just getting into heaven. I know they're both terrible, guys, but for me, I'll choose crime, eh? No, because even with crime, at least there's a moment where I know there's hope, where I can be like, okay. But let me take my SIM card and delete my browser history. I'll choose South Africa any day of the week. These are things I think about. I have to think about them. Because now, I've lived in America for so long that they say that soon I'm going to be given a US passport. Right? You say woo because you don't know what it comes with. Tandaga, you're clapping already. Yay! Didn't even ask about terms and conditions. Because I read the terms and conditions of having an American passport. There are many things that I don't like. First and foremost, I will have to be subject to the American legal system. Yeah, I'm not enthusiastic about that, I'm not gonna lie. Because I never planned to do anything wrong in America. But in the back of my head, I always thought if something was to be done by me, I felt good knowing they would have to deport me. They would be like, you're guilty, you're deported. And I'll be like, no. And then I'll come home and be like, Maracas, you must know, South Africa, you guys know, you know what happens sometimes, but you never know. Why did Rihanna leave her iPhone like that? No, but I seriously don't want to be involved in the American justice system. Because they say it's justice, but it's terrifying. You don't know how they'll treat you. You don't know why they'll treat you. The scariest part for me is what happens in courts. Because they have a jury system in America. I'm terrified of that. Terrified of it. For those who don't know, I'm sure you've seen it on TV, but for those who don't know, the American system is very different to the South African one. In South Africa, you have the judge, you have the prosecution, and you have the defense. Right? That's who your case is working with, and the judge decides. The judge has studied, they're learned, they know what's going on. And you can talk to them on their side. I'm joking. But I like knowing that person had to go to school to figure out whether I broke the law. In America, it's a different system. They have a judge, they have a prosecution, and they have a defense, but they also have a jury. A jury. 12 people who are randomly gathered, randomly picked, who decide your fate. These people do not need to have studied the law. They don't need to understand the law. They don't even need to have watched Law and Order. Now they're deciding your fate. Dun, dun. I don't want that in my life. Yeah, I don't want that, and I don't want to be on a jury either. That's what comes with getting an American passport. You now have to be on a jury. I don't want to be on a jury. You know why? Because I'm South African. Yeah, and you're probably wondering, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. I read the rules of being on a jury, and I realized South Africans can never be on a jury. Yeah, because there's certain rules when you're on a jury. One of the most important rules right at the top of the list is if you are on a jury, if you're serving on a jury, you may not express your feelings or emotions about anything that is happening during the case. You may not talk about it, and you may not, during the case at any time, on the trial, you may not on the bench, you may not say anything. Anything, yeah, when the jury is standing, like you can't express, you can't do anything. South Africans, immediately disqualified. You tell me which South